Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request from Gia. Hope you're doing well, Gia. It's been a while since I've heard from you, but thank you once again for another request. And for those interested in requesting any type of topics, reviews, commentaries, video game playthroughs, re-reviews, reactions, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is what Gia says. I'm sure you heard about the recent Vince McMahon allegations. Can you talk about what you think about Vince McMahon? Do you think we should separate art from artists and still enjoy WWE and its history? Thank you. So, this might be a long one. People already know, but I'll probably be repeating it anyway about the allegations, everything in between. But just to get my thoughts in order on this. To answer your question, yes. Separate the art from the artist, yes. Where you could still enjoy the Austin McMahon rivalry, which makes sense because McMahon is such a villain in those. You want to see Austin beat the crap out of him and do all the other stuff. Vince McMahon has always been a piece of crap human being. Always. So, in a way, I can't say I'm surprised this all got out. Some of the details, yes, but there's soon to be, a reckoning sooner or later. It's only a matter of time. Does Vince McMahon, the former owner of WWE, now he's out, TTO, and The Rock, and all these other guys are kind of heading it up. Endeavor, who worked with the UFC, they pretty much say Vince McMahon, we never want him around again. They seem pretty adamant about it. Was it for good measure? I mean, the guy is, 80? He's almost 80 years old. He doesn't need to be around. But Vince McMahon's not... He's always been a piece of crap. He's always been a FOS, F-O-S, full of shit syndrome type of guy. No surprise. Going back to the days of the territories, where he would find all these unscrupulous ways and reasons to get these territories by hook or by crook. Underpaying this person. Find a way to snivel his way into getting this territory. Stealing this company's stars and that company's stars, but offer more money this way. Okay, I'm going to buy your company. Wait, you did one house show or one little show here? Deal is null and void. Sorry, I win. I get yours for peanuts, for pennies on the dollar. And all the ways he's treated people, all the ways he's treating other performers. The Jimmy Snuka thing, where Jimmy Snuka was with his girlfriend in a motel. She was found having hit her head on something. Taken to the hospital. They see that she's got all these cuts and bruises from all the times Jimmy Snuka beat the hell out of her. And Jimmy Snuka kept changing the story. Oh, this happened off the side of a road. And then you brought her back to your motel? Well, actually, no, what happened here? Oh, no, she fell. No, more likely there was a fight yet again. You pushed her. She hit her head. So you did kill her. But then Vince McMahon, the story is, he talked to the cops, deal was done, they went about their day. And because Jimmy Snuka at that time was pretty much the biggest star he had, before Hulk Hogan was a much bigger thing. But then soon after, you saw Jimmy Snuka kind of go on the wayside for his transition they did into Hulk Hogan. So, Vince McMahon, he had a hand in covering up Jimmy Snuka's murder. Murder of his girlfriend. This is the same guy that Owen Hart was pushed to do the stupid thing to go along and slide in the air down to the ring. Something happened. He fell to his death. They carried him out. And Vince McMahon kept the show going. As Bret Hart, the brother of Owen Hart, would say, if that was his son, Shane McMahon, or his daughter, Stephanie, Do you think he would have the show still going? No. People went out there and there was still blood on the fucking canvas. On the damn canvas. You couldn't afford to stop the show? Especially when you have to figure out what happened? It's now a crime scene? Because you don't know what the hell happened? People have to wrestle with blood on the mat from their friend who some of them don't even know yet that he died, and then of course they eventually mention that he did die. You kidding me? Was it Rita Chatterton, who is a female referee, who had allegations against Vince McMahon. People didn't believe her. As much as I like Bret Hart, that's one thing I'm disappointed in him. Now he apologized for it, but he didn't believe in it. Because he thought, well, Vince, you think you'd get someone better looking. That was really stupid and shitty of Bret Hart. I love Bret Hart. Nobody's perfect. Gotta call him out on it. Same with Bret Hart. Same with everybody else. But they had this deer in the headlights where they look at it and by the way, he said on kayfabe commentaries, timeline 1992, whatever the year was. Timeline of WWE that was brought up. I forget what year. 94 maybe? Was it 94? I forget what year it was, the timeline. Can't remember. Actually, I'll look it up. Bret Hart, 1992. Okay, it was 92. Which I think that's on YouTube now. But meshed with another one, but whatever. I know he did say he did go up and did apologize to her at a convention. So at least he's man. If that happened, at least he's man enough to do that. But yeah, a lot of people would let it go because either Vince had too much power, or they looked at him as a father figure, or they talked to him on a day-to-day basis, and they go, no, he couldn't be that stupid, or he couldn't be that, It's one thing to be an asshole, but it's another to be a predator. But all the signs were there. People either ignored it, or they didn't want to believe it, or they bought him as a friend or a father figure, but what do they say about a lot of serial killers? He seemed like a nice guy at the time. And even Vince didn't seem like a nice guy. Maybe nice to them, but he wasn't nice to everybody. Who's the one wrestler that when Daniel Bryan did his retirement and they're going back into the back, it was a wrestler, I forget his name. He's the one that when he's run to a Royal Rumble, he slipped and fell under the ring. Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil was like, hey, ain't that great, man? And Vince McMahon went apeshit and pushed him and yelled at him for no reason and suspended him to the point he missed WrestleMania and missed that payday and for nothing. He's like, yay, Vince. Like, hey, Vince. Didn't do anything. Titus O'Neil looked at to be like one of the nicest guys there. Probably why they gave him that stupid thing where he had to be there with Hulk Hogan that one WrestleMania. It's like, I know, man, but, he did a WrestleMania payday or whatever. The Ashley Mazzaro, which I didn't know about this until looking up more, where she was in Kuwait, wrestled for the troops. The story she told was that someone who said he was a doctor, and then there's another female soldier outside. They said, let me take your temperature, whatever. They put an IV. Apparently she was drugged. They did stuff to her. Because apparently it was always the guy's birthday. They left. She had told people. They didn't believe her. Or they say they looked into it. Then at the time when she said some stuff, oh, well, she never told us about it. And then recently, John Laurinaitis, another part of the story, his lawyer saying, yeah, she did say, there's these records that she did bring it up back to the day. Wait a minute, back to the day you said it was never brought up. Now this lawyer of yours saying that she did bring it up. Which is it? She did or she didn't? More like she did, and you want to cover up because, well, not all the troops are like that, and we do business, and we don't want to cause a ruckus. I believe it. I believe that happened. There's always been a history of Vince McMahon doing stuff to serve his interests, to keep his company afloat, to help his company. And then this new person here, which apparently there were multiple NDAs, non-disclosure agreements that he had signed to the tune of $14 million. $14 million. And Janelle Grant is a woman who, what was it, 2022, there's news of like the Wall Street Journal, all these other publications about these allegations. Because apparently, Janelle Grant was someone whose parents had died, needed a new job, got the job with Vince McMahon to be a paralegal, paid her an inordinate amount of money, and then did a lot of stuff to her outlined in this 60-some page lawsuit that came out, and said, okay, we don't pay you to go away. We'll pay you $3 million. I paid $1 million. And then more than likely, he thought Janelle Grant told people about this, and that's why he got in the news in 2022, whatever. So he stopped paying. But there's no evidence that she did. There's probably other people in the know that knew what was going on, that they probably said something. So now, hey, you broke the shit. Now I could sue you. Now, granted, I don't know why. I mean, they made it seem like it's more of a civil suit. I don't know why it would not be a criminal suit, unless it's going to that. And I'm not good with all the details. But from what I understand, they checked him, they got his phone, they looked at the text messages. There's text messages there that you could easily confirm. So it's not that she's just making this entirely up. The other cohort, John Laurinaitis, his lawyer seems to be burying him without him knowing it, saying, not denying it happened, but that, well, John Laurinaitis is a victim too. And at first the lawyer goes, well, I mean, this lady's like... It seemed as if at first the lawyer was going, well, she's saying that John Laurinaitis did all this and it's completely untrue. But then when the lawyer kept talking, going, well, I mean, John Laurinaitis was told to do this by Vince and he was a victim too. And I'm like, okay, the more that you talk, the more you're burying yourself, let alone Vince McMahon. And that now, of course, I have to understand this to a point. There are people that go, well, wait a minute. Is there a possibility? I said, if. Let me repeat, if the possibility was. She said yes to this. Wow, this looks like a good payday. I get to have fun with this billionaire. He's paying me a lot of money. Have the great food, living arrangement. Do all sorts of crazy, tinky things. Then he's tired of me. I'm like, I don't want to leave. Yes, you are. Well, I'm going to tell what happened. And I even have these text messages. Okay, well, fine. We'll give you an NDA. We'll just pay you off. Okay, fine. And the only reason she did this was because she wasn't paid. And it makes you wonder, well, if she was paid the other $2 million, would this be also kept quiet? I guess so. So this whole, well, I'm doing it for all the women out there. I'm like, you can't say that, because if you had paid the other $2 million, you still would have been silent. So when people think that way, I do understand that, because that is that kind of question of, well, if she was paid the other $2 million, would she have still been silent? But at the same time, with the way Vince McMahon is, how detailed it is, the way Vince texted like this, and there are people that look at that and go, yeah, that kind of sounds like Vince, the way he would talk to or write, or maybe even text to them. It's one of those things that you can see that Vince McMahon would be this type of guy that would really be manipulative and force people to do stuff they didn't want to do. So again, I can see if some people go, well, was she along for the ride, but then she was kicked out and said, well, okay, fine. You know what? You're not going to pay the other $2 million. Here you go. Just again, this is only comes out because she wasn't paid the $2 million of that $3 million deal. But the way it's detailed and the way this is done, number one, you're still not supposed to do that on company property when you're the head boss of a publicly traded company. Allocating funds, not just from you, but from the office that's supposed to be another business practices, not your fucking harem hooker place. And the amount of details of, like, all the sex toys named after wrestlers they used on her, and the force. That could very well be the case too. And with the history he has, where there's other divas that, oh, well, they were on the plane, and maybe did a little thing or two just to keep on going, keep on being up on the card, or keep with the company. Hush, hush. It's a Harvey Weinstein thing all over again. And Vince McMahon does seem like the guy that would be the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling. And like that, him and this other guy was doing a threesome on her, and he defecated. I'm guessing he did it accidentally, but it's still awful and terrible. Because he's such an old guy. Or he had this power play that he's just going to do it, and it'd be weird and kinky, and is this weirdo. And a weirdo definitely is Vince McMahon. He is a weirdo. All these weird things throughout the years. He doesn't like someone sneezing, which is funny. He doesn't like someone sneezing, but he defecates on someone. And there's a reason why Vince McMahon is gone. There's a reason why Tico's like, we want nothing to do with this. There's a reason why you don't have a whole lot of people defending him, except maybe Kevin Nash. By idea, Kevin Nash says, he's innocent until proven guilty, which is true. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. And even Kevin Nash, to be fair, said, if he did rape her, then criminal charges need to be filed. But he said, if this is someone, a lady just, she didn't get her payday, $2 million, so the whole thing is just really terrible business. If she was strong-armed into doing all this stuff, and then feel like there's nowhere to go, because was she beaten down mentally, what? But to say she was, people kept saying like she was 20 years old. No, she was like 40 years old. So she was an older person. You would think she'd have enough life experience, but at the same time, I've never been in that situation. I've never been the person that was assaulted or forced by a guy or any or a woman or any other sort. So that's a different headspace, different type of psychology. You know what they term grooming, the psychological mind games. When people act differently and they react to things differently. And I mean, I don't. It'd be a, if this was all just a simple ploy, but Janelle Grant would be like, well, you know, are you really going to admit that all this stuff happened? That people might question or may ridicule? Because there are assholes that would do that, question, ridicule, and you mean like, you kind of laugh at the, just how insane it sounds, but then if you read all the details, it's very, very detailed. It's a very sad story. And that's the thing. If you take what Janelle Grant says true, it's very sad what happened to her. And all the women, not just her, Ashley Mazzaro, Rita Chatterton, all the divas that went through that stuff. Ashley Mazzaro passed away by ending her life in 2019. And if it was because of mental breakdown of what happened to her in Kuwait and people not believing in her and they're hiding it up and covering it up, that needs accountability. Vince McMahon should never ever be on TV screens again unless it's in a court of law. And what's the phrase? When there's smoke, there's fire. There's so much smoke up Vince McMahon's ass, coming out of his nostrils and his ruby implanted looking lips and his needs to be shaved Gomez mustache and all this other stuff. How much smoke does it need to be before you question, maybe there's something about this weirdo, maybe there's something up with this guy, this fruitcake, this weirdo. Yeah, as I'm rude. 2 days ago, Ashley Mazzaro accused Vince McMahon of sexually preying on wrestlers in previously unreleased statement. In a previously unpublished statement given before her 2019 death by a parent ending her life, he said company founder Vince McMahon sexually preyed on female wrestlers and that she was punished for rejecting his advances by being given bad scripts she believed were meant to destroy her reputation. The statement was given to her lawyers as they worked up a sworn affidavit published shortly after her death, in which she said she was assaulted on a military base while in Kuwait on a WWE tour and that management covered it up. The attorneys also left it out because it was irrelevant to central claims in the lawsuit, which they were representing her, which concerned concussions. I felt extraordinarily uncomfortable. He began calling the hotel room phone and my cell phone nonstop. As Vice has reported, WWE publicly denied that its upper management knew about the allegations, but that was untrue. A lawyer for former Zet John Laurinaitis said that he and most of upper management were aware of it, a claim corroborated by previous statements from a former WWE doctor. So they publicly denied that the upper management knew, but then John Laurinaitis' lawyer and a WWE doctor said, no, we didn't know. She saw McMahon making out with female wrestlers in the locker room and that he sexually harassed her. She also said that after she rejected his advances, he wrote demeaning scripts for her to perform that she inferred were meant to end her career and destroy her reputation. She also details 2 of McMahon's long-serving lieutenants counseling her on how to deal with his behavior. Now, those 2 could have been John Laurinaitis, could be Kevin Dunn, could be a number of other people. McMahon resigned from TTO 2 weeks ago after being named alongside John Laurinaitis as defendants in a civil sex trafficking suit that alleged... I mean, if it's sex trafficking, then that has to go criminal. You would think that has to go criminal court. And it makes you wonder, like, what will come out next? What will come out next? Oh, will this be the theme where, like, Jimmy Snooker? Well, finally Jimmy Snooker's getting some... going to court. Finally Jimmy Snooker may face prosecution. And then he got sick, and then he passed away, and then didn't have to do anything. Will this be elongated of a court trial system? Or will Vince McMahon just pay, find what money do you want, pay goodbye? Which, I mean, you think that wouldn't be the thing, because there should be a lot more seriousness and trial of these your criminal activities that you can't just pay off. But some, they do, like, throw money to elongate a trial for who knows how long. Trying to go indefinitely. But, I mean, his name is mud now forever. For all time, he'll be remembered as this sicko, weirdo guy who did all this stuff to women. And you can say, well, maybe, so many times before, you know what? Maybe he is just a creep. And, no, I don't think they can erase him like Chris Benoit. And, by the way, you can go back and watch his matches, because there's other people involved with those matches. And you're into the story, you're into what was going on in those pay-per-views where there's a lot of other wrestlers having a lot of other matches. And you can't do it, Vince McMahon, because the Attitude Era, whether you like it or not, is the most popular moment in WWF history. And the primary focus was Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, you can't just delete that from history. And you shouldn't. When that person comes up, if someone asks a question, you have a conversation, you look up info about it, and that's how you learn. You don't learn from history by deleting history. You learn history by studying, refining, as in refining your thoughts and presenting them in an organized manner of truth and consequences. This is what happened. These are consequences of what happened. And then present them in a truthful manner to tell people this is what happened. This is the history of what happened. These are the allegations. This is the information presented. You make up your own mind. Deleting history is a slippery bad slope, and you can't do it. It happened. And these people, if they are victims, it dishonors their memory to forget it. Don't forget it. Sorry, it doesn't work in your safe space. The world ain't a safe, happy-go-lucky place. The sooner you know that, the better. The sooner you realize that, the better. Sorry. But yeah, Vince McMahon, he's a piece of shit. He's a weirdo. He's a creep. He needs to get the full service of the law. I hope it does. I'm such a cynical guy that part of me somehow, some way, some form thinks he'll escape. Not public, but, that justice won't be served. I'm just cynical on that. But in public opinion, his name is null and void now. So at the very least, you have that. Not that it helps Ashley Bizarro. And again, what about all these other people that sign NDAs? That again, if the NDAs were served, maybe they can't really say until it's broken or whatever it is. I don't know. Just we'll wait and see. But yeah, don't let the. I know they're doing all this thing with WrestleMania and stuff. Cody Rhodes, The Rock's heel, all this other stuff. But don't let it deter people, and forget the real meat of the matter of this year. Vince McMahon and what he did, what he got away with for years, and people covered it up, or they just ignored it for their precious sensibilities or through the wrestling business. And then like recently, like there's another wrestler, Billy Jack Haynes, that murdered his wife. I mean, so many terrible things about the. I mean, you can say the same thing about Hollywood as well. It's the same. Terrible things in Hollywood, terrible things in wrestling. Chris Benoit killed his wife and kid. His brain was a pile of goo, like a 90-year-old schizoid Alzheimer's patient. Billy Jack Haynes murdered his wife. Jimmy Snooker killed his girlfriend. Kamala lost his leg, and I think maybe even lost his other leg, and no one WWF tried to help him, and then just dies. Ultimate Warrior apparently was a tremendous piece of crap. Vince McMahon, of course, here. John Laurinaitis. Perhaps Kevin Dunn, perhaps other people, who knows who will be next. Unbelievable, man. Hulk Hogan being the racist and full of shit liar. Ric Flair flopping his dick around a plane, making a flight stewardess uncomfortable. It's like, god damn, man. Time and time and time and time again. So. But yeah, Vince McMahon, it's the right decision for him to go away. Have him go away for good. And never come back. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. What you say? Go play with your dildos in your mansion, Vince McMahon. Vinny Mac and Cheese. Shave that damn mustache too, Mr. Gomez Adams. So, that's why I think of Vince McMahon. That's what I think of him. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.